Looks like a melon, huh?
Yeah, it's like a huge watermelon.
Doesn't that look like the bottom of a melon?
Yeah. Well, not a watermelon, because watermelons are smooth.
Look at that light over there.
Yeah, I can see
See
it.
that light?
Yeah.
What do you think they're doing there?
They?
Whoever is with that light. Think they're having a party right there?
There's no one there.
But look at that light.
That's natural moonlight.
You don't think there's a party happening right there at that light?
I say there is.
I say there's a party. I'm with you, Nate. There's a party right there.
Okay, it's either there's moon falling from the sky that we don't know about, or there's a party.
Or there's a party happening on the moon.
I don't know.
Hey friends, welcome to episode 2 of Align with Plants. Alright guys, so I've been living in alignment with plants for about the last 15 years or so, but it's been about 3 years total that I've had houseplants. It took me a while to be able to build up my houseplant collection. I have 3 young children, 10 and under, and have been an unschooling mom of 3 young children for the last 10 years. They've been with me every day. Houseplants have just been a little bit too much for me, and I'm really excited that I'm finally learning how to take care of houseplants. They're bringing a lot of joy and nourishment, enrichment into my life and also into the lives of my children. And I want to share with you all how I've learned how to take care of houseplants. I've been really good with outdoor plants. I can grow a garden. I can put together a food forest without a problem. But when it comes to these little bitty delicate plants and these little bitty pots, it used to be challenging for me. I think we have over 40 different types of plants now in the home, maybe even 50 for just about a year now. And they're all thriving and they're all doing well and looking gorgeous. So it's time for me to start sharing my tips and tricks with the world and let you know what worked for me. Alright guys, so the first thing that I want to tell you about taking care of houseplants, and this has kind of been the big thing for me. If you're already feeling overwhelmed in life, it's probably not the right time to get a new houseplant. I know, they're really good for mental health. They can help with depression. They can help boost your energy. But if you're already overwhelmed and you already have like one too many things to do, if you're the person that's looking for the 25th hour on the 8th day of the week, like me sometimes, bringing on a houseplant when you're already overwhelmed and you already have a really busy schedule is probably not a good choice. There's a good chance that you're not going to be able to tune into the plant and understand the plant's needs and learn the plant's watering schedule, and the plant might die. When you lose a baby houseplant, it's heartbreaking. You kind of don't trust yourself and don't want to take care of another plant. And that's an unfortunate experience that I went through many times in the past, especially with young children at home. And I think I finally overcame it. So I want to offer this to you. If you're already feeling overwhelmed in life, that's not the time to get a new houseplant. Wait until you feel like you have more free time, more time to actually give to another living being, and then get the houseplant. My first 2 houseplants, and these are the troopers, right? This beautiful pothos here, this was one of my first houseplants that survived the long haul with me. I got her probably about 2.5, 3 years ago, and she was a gift from a friend. She was in a much bigger pot at the time. I didn't even know she was a pothos when I first got her. I had not opened my mind to learning about houseplants. I was an outdoor gardener. Matter of fact, was kind of almost anti-plants that needed too much attention for a few years because my babies were young and needed my attention. And so I didn't even know that this was a pothos when I first got her. Quickly found out though, a very standard and common plant of houseplants, a plant that enjoys minimal effort, doesn't really need a whole lot of care, but does need you to understand their ways. This plant would sit right here in front of me in the kitchen, and I would watch her as I washed dishes and as I prepared meals for the family. And she started to communicate with me and started to let me know that she was going to help me figure out how to be a good plant mama, which I'm so thankful that you did. Thank you for trusting me and believing in me. I had to get to know her, and she had to get to know me. And once we had enough time together, I think that she kind of talked to the houseplant gods and said, hey guys, I know she's killed a lot of us, but she didn't mean to. She revived me and gave me another chance, and I'm so thankful for this beautiful plant. She was actually in a pot that was way too big for her and was not able to grow as much as she could have had I been more aware of that before. But I down potted her just, when did we do this? Like, I think in the end of fall, I down potted or downsized her, and she's been thriving quite a bit now, actually, starting to get some trailing going on here. So this is plant baby number 1. She started to send energy in through the ethers. You know, everything is a frequency. Plants are communicators, and they communicate through, through many different ways, through color, through pheromones, through scents, and also through literal frequency waves that they send out into the ethers. If you're paying attention and you're open and you're interested and you are trying to actively communicate with plants, you can learn how to pick up these frequency waves and actually decipher the messages of plants. It's a part of my life. And so she was, was putting out her own frequency wave of communication of her needs, and I was able to pick them up. One of the things that she taught me was that she didn't need too much water. She didn't need too much water, and that she actually enjoyed drying all the way out and having a very light pot before she needed me to water her again. So the second tip that I want to let people know about when it comes to taking care of houseplants is watering. Obviously, it's really probably the reason most plants die, is that we don't really understand the water schedule or the water needs of the plant. This pothos taught me quite a bit about that, actually. Oh, there's a little water here in the bottom of her pot. I can see the condensation here. Plastic pots don't breathe like these terracotta pots do. And condensation and root rot can happen pretty quickly because of that. So I'm going to pour this water into this plant right here and give her some more air down there. It wasn't actually sitting, she wasn't actually sitting in the water, but I could see the condensation. So with this plant, what she wanted me to do was actually pick her up and feel her weight. And I did that, and then also heard quite a few folks online shouting out Planteria, one of my favorite plant caretakers online. She must have so much Virgo energy in her. My Virgo rising just loves how she talks about her plants. She also recommended to pick up your plants and feel their weight. Once I began to do that, it's almost like making a sauce. If you watched episode 1 and I talked about creating that cheese sauce from potatoes and carrots, you have to taste your sauces as you build them to get to know the different layers of flavor that build in your sauce over time. It takes time to build your palate to understand how flavors come together. It takes time to get to know when your plant needs watering. And a lot of it has to do with literally feeling the plant and feeling the plant, looking at how much water is in the pot, and then also looking at the plant and its health, and over time creating a correlation between the two. This pothos likes to dry out all the way, but not stay dry too long, though she is much better with staying dry in this plastic pot than, let's say, I have a pothos in a clay pot. She does not like to be dry at all. The other first plant that I started with was this elephant ear succulent. Absolutely gorgeous plant. This is an elephant ear succulent. She actually spends most of her time outdoors now. And because of that, we are in the desert, very, very hot desert. When in the middle of the summer, I actually have to water her every day for her to maintain her leaves. She's in a pretty small pot, and when I water her every day, she actually puts on more leaves. If I don't, she'll struggle throughout the summer. And that took me 2 summers to figure out. I didn't get that the first summer, and I had to watch her kind of suffer a bit But now I figured it out. We understand each other, and she's thriving. And I even planted in another plant here, and they're all doing really well together. So those are my first 2 plants. They got me into the world of plant mamahood and have brought me quite a ways since then. So this is where it started, and this is where we're at. All right. Another plant that is very, very finicky with water is this nerve plant. This is called the nerve plant. Love her. Can you see that up close there? The colors, look at the colors underneath. Fittonia albivinus is her name, it's her genus and species. She's a beautiful plant. I absolutely love having her. She's also a little bit delicate and high maintenance, and that's okay. You have to get to know those friends of yours that are delicate or sensitive or high maintenance and adjust accordingly. She is one that if she is dried out for like 1 day beyond when she dries out, her whole body will wilt over. You will find this plant totally hanging over the sides of this pot as if she is about to die. And quite honestly, I think she is on her deathbed. She's on her way out. But like this plant here, a plant that you have to watch it dry all the way out to see how it interacts. Sometimes you'll watch it dry all the way out and you'll lose a plant because it'll die before you catch it. So I recommend when people bring in new plants, even like this Begonia Rex here. This is a Begonia Rex. I still have not repotted her from her original pot because they grow really, really tiny, delicate roots and should be well root bound before you repot from my research. This is my first Begonia Rex, but I absolutely love this plant. Look at the under her leaves. She's absolutely gorgeous. She can be pretty finicky with water also though. When I brought her home, I let her dry out all the way. So every plant that I bring home, I let them dry out. They come home, you get to dry out. I want to see how you feel when you're totally dry. After I experience that, then I'm able to start to test the amount of water that they need. So we dry them out. I let them get light as I think at least, because again, this is my first time with the plant. And then water them and see what happens. If they show signs of stress when they are really dried out, like this nerve plant, then I'm going to make sure that I water them more frequently. So it's really taking the time to get to know the plants. Let's say with this Scindapsus here, absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite plants in the home is this beautiful Scindapsus. A favorite. Her leaves will actually, I see a couple leaves in here that's got some dry on them. Interesting. That might have been from me. That might be from the cold over here from the door. But we're almost in warm weather. So this beautiful Scindapsus here, her leaves will actually start to curl when she's dry. I'll pick this pot up, which again, these terracotta pots do dry out much quicker than the plastic pots. But I'll pick up the pot, she'll be totally light and her leaves will start to curl in on themselves. And that's a perfect sign of letting you know that this plant needs some water. She'll have a couple of days before she goes into shock or becomes a dire situation once the leaves start to curl. But that is a signal to you to know she needs water, and if you respond, she's gonna be fine. All right, one more plant that I wanna talk about when it comes to watering is this ZZ plant. This is a ZZ, a beautiful plant, very popular plant. I tend to find them in like coffee shops and in like the waiting rooms of even malls and stores. This is a plant that can survive with very, very little attention. And there's one primary reason that she's like this. This right here, this is a brand new ZZ growing, brand new ZZ sprout growing out of this tuber right here. This tuber is just like a root, like a sweet potato or like a, ginger. It is full of starch, full of water, and it has enough energy and water for the plants to actually grow directly from it. So when you have plants like this that actually have tubers, you have very light watering needs, and you have to actually get to know the kind of plant that you're growing, its habits, how its life cycle is, to be able to understand when and how to water it. So spend the time with your plants, get to know your plants, talk to your plants, keep an open heart with them, and over time they will let you know exactly what they need one way or the other. All right, so my third tip, and really one of the best ones that I feel people need to know about, at least as an option, is a humidifier. See this beautiful fern back here? Let's bring her up. This beautiful fern. You guys probably can't see me anymore though, huh? Do you see me? Peekaboo. This beautiful fern here, we actually lived up in the Pacific Northwest for a few years. And when I saw her in a grocery store here in the Sonoran Desert, I thought, oh my gosh, a fern, I'm bringing her home. And I didn't think at all about the fact that I was in the desert and that she's accustomed to the rainforest. Feels so sweet. But you are, aren't you? You're not a desert plant, you're a rainforest plant. And I brought her home, and within about 6 hours, her leaves were starting to yellow at the tips. And I was literally watching the life force of her drain out of her body within 6 hours of being in my home, okay? I did get her in the summertime as well. And so I took her out of that cool, grocery store, which she had probably only been there for a few days, out of the greenhouse, and she went into shock. I turned on the humidifier, and within the next 6 hours, 6 to 10 hours, her life slowly regained. I watched those same leaves, the green life, literally come back into the leaf, the yellow disappear, and she was saved and has been thriving ever since. Look at this beautiful plant. Gorgeous! Why is that? It's because she's a rainforest plant, guys. This plant belongs where the humidity is really, really high. Just like a lot of house plants, she tends to be where the weather is cooler at. But let's talk about this Monstera. This is a cottage cheese plant. I think you say Monstera addisoni or addisoni, one or the other. I don't have all of the names exactly memorized, but a pretty special plant. This is a tropical plant. You can actually see here all these little nodules on here are roots. This is a vining plant that would actually grow on top of or on the outside of a tropical tree and vine up the tree. That would be its niche. This plant is used to equatorial type living, where there is a ton of moisture in the air and nutrients available, because in those climates you have a lot of dead plant matter that falls to the ground, and a lot of rich black compost and humus. The earth is very, very fertile there. And so these plants are used to fertile, moist environments like a tropical rainforest. When we bring them home and we bring them to the desert, or we bring them to extremely dry environments, they suffer because that's not where they're from. They're from the places that I dream about living. Me and my cottage cheese plant just laying in the sand where it's warm all year long. Bathing suits, flip-flops, shorts, tank tops, mangoes, coconuts. Oh, I get excited. I think I'm from where they're from too. That's another reason too, actually. Humidifier is good for you too, you know. Not everybody does good in moist air, but a lot of us actually need more moisture in our lives, more water in our lives, more moisture on our skin, more moisture in our homes. I find that when we turn the humidifier here on the home, everybody feels a little bit happier. The actual energy in the home has a different density to it, and we all love the humidifier running. I have two types of humidifiers. I have a cool mist humidifier, and I also have a warm humidifier that I would use for my babies when they would have congestion when they were very small. I do prefer the cool mist during the summer months, but they both work fine. I know that they are keeping my plants happy. Having houseplants at home is good for your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. They help improve the air quality in the home. They bring a certain feel and life and energy and vibrancy to your home. But if you're overwhelmed and you don't have the time to get to know and create interpersonal relationships and bonds with these plants, just wait. Just wait until your life is a little bit more relaxed or calmed. Having houseplants can also improve your mental health. So make sure that you find the right plants that have the right requirements, Keep your heart open, listen to them, start with 1 or 2, get to know them, create a bond and a method to your madness, and then slowly bring in more plants into your home. They're absolutely amazing. We love them. If you're in Phoenix and you're interested in learning how to further align with plants or how to use herbs for yourself and your family, check out Community Herbalism PHX on Instagram. We are a nonprofit organization in the desert that goes to 4 different valley locations and talks about herbalism. These meetups are free. There's 6 different herbalists that travel around 4 different locations and offer free community meetups to help you connect with the healing powers of plants. So if you're in the Phoenix area, please come check out Community Herbalism. Come hang out with us. Not too many houseplants usually at Community Herbalism. We're dealing mostly with herbs and diet, but we'll be bringing in more houseplants too. All right, guys, so that's it. Again, thank you for hanging out. Episode 2 of Align with Plants. I'm super excited to continue to share with my plant journey with you all. Let you know how I've found ways to align with plants and continue to empower you and your family with the knowledge and the recipes to do it too. If you like this episode, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to Align with Plants. I'll be uploading a new video every Monday that will be all about how to align with plants, what plants to align with, and you get to hang out with me. I'll see you next week. Peace out.